Here we are, the Jillstream. This is episode 5. I am your host, Antonio Bryce, but below me there is the woman who we have named this particular podcast of the Jill in the Jillstream. Jill B.
Hello.
Peel, how are you, dear?
I'm good.
Yes, Jillstream is live, and we are welcoming a guest to the channel for the first time.
Fresh meat.
Yes. Well, there you go. Twitless, welcome to the Jillstream. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. It's
right.
hot.
Well, here's the thing. I met Twitless on Oz's channel.
And what is Oz's channel? Because I don't know.
Oz Art or something. What is his channel, Twitless?
Oz Art Creations.
Oz Art Creations. Okay, so Oz was having, he did this, it was damn near, because he cut it off at like 5 minutes before it, because it cuts off at 8 hours. The stream was like 7 hours and 55 minutes.
What?
It's a hornet's nest.
And I started getting messages. They were like, holy shit, Doug Tenaple and Mike S. Miller are on Oz's channel. And I had just talked to Doug about 5 or 6 days before. First time I had talked to Doug on the phone in about 8 months. We had kind of gotten estranged. And but then, things had started kind of cooling off, and Doug would reach out to me and say, hey man, hope you're doing well, or something like that. So he was friendly. And I never hated Doug. I didn't want, I was honest with him that I did not like the way he left Comicsgate. Mm-hmm. And, because I did not like the way, I did not like the way he left Comicsgate, and I was honest with him about that. But
is it like a cult or something? Like, are people not allowed to leave Comicsgate?
People are allowed to leave Comicsgate, but it's like, here's the thing. When you raise like 200 grand in the community, and then you start saying it's a cult, and I'm like, I'm still a member, so I don't feel like I'm in a cult. I don't feel like I've been brainwashed or anything. Right. And I wouldn't even know Doug Tenaple if not for Comicsgate. So that kind of thing. And then so I was that caused me and Doug to have some differences of opinion, because I was like, the community was very good to you, and I just wish he had handled it a little. I understood why he left, especially, when, he started kind of seeing things differently from, Ethan Van Sciver. And, Ethan Van Sciver is obviously a very large voice within the Comicsgate community and everything. So he started seeing things differently. Then, I don't know if he started hating. I don't want to speak for Doug or whatever. I guess I need to ask him directly, because it's always weird when you try to say what someone else feels, and they're not here to actually. That's kind of where. Yes, but I just know from talking to him, it just seemed like he was feeling one way, and he just didn't want to be part of the community anymore.
From what he said, and the word he said, I'm trying to say it the way he said it, so I'm not taking him out of context. I think he said the brand of Comicsgate was not his brand. He wanted he wanted to take his brand in another direction, which is very diplomatic way of saying it. The interpretation I got from him, so I could be totally wrong, and I almost wish he had just come right out and said it, is that if the scene had just become too mean for him, and he's just like, hey, and if he just said that, hey, this scene is too mean for me, I want to do a more family-friendly, nice thing, because that seems to be the brand he's trying to do. I've heard him say many times he's trying to do a more kind of kid-friendly.
Yeah, because he had a Scholastic deal. Yeah, his books are, that's when, like, Jeff Smith, I talked to Jeff, I got to interview Jeff Smith last year.
Oh, really? Cool.
And, Jeff, actually, it's on the, it's one of the first ones that pull up on my channel, at least for new subscribers, that you can, on the creators playlist, you can see the interview I did with Jeff Smith.
Oh, I love Phone. Yeah.
And he was, Jeff Smith was super nice to me. And, his assistant Kathleen, she's a sweetheart, and I actually just messaged him the other day. I'm trying to see if he might want to come back and do another interview.
I have to imagine when more money comes into play, like, you know, getting a Scholastic contract or whatever.
Yeah,
and it always is, you know, broader audience and wider appeal when more money gets involved.
Well, like, Jeff definitely has a pretty big Scholastic, because all his volumes of Bone have been reprinted. They'll like do little smaller editions and sell. So I know he eats with Scholastic, and I think they distribute him not only because when he was on, I think he's in like 40 countries or more. You know, his Bone's been translated into multiple languages and all this kind of thing.
That's what I mean. Who are you guys talking about again? The other dude?
Talking about Doug TenNapel.
Doug TenNapel, and then
I mean, I'm sure he wants, you know, to be like that.
And I'm just saying, Doug's got like at that time, I think he's on his 22nd book now, but he had at least 18 or 19 books that, you know, a lot of which were being put out through Scholastic. And then he had one book that was put out through Image that they repurposed again. Let me see.
Well, most of his books are targeted for the kid-friendly audience anyway. That's what
you're not going to see nudity. You're not going to see, you know, it's going to be family friendly. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying? He's, and, you know, Doug is very open about his Christian faith, all this kind of, and that's
which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wanting to have that demographic. Yeah.
My mom was a minister. You know, it's like I grew up in the church and all this kind of thing. So I definitely have no problem with it. But that's the thing. And, you know, I'll be like, wait a minute, you know, because that was one thing I remember when Doug left. I was like, wait a minute, Doug, do you know I'm in Comicsgate? Do you think I'm anti-Christian? Not you, but some people, you know, you're my friend. I know you're not anti-Christian and all this kind of, you know, it was that kind of, and you know, that's where, you know, we would challenge each other, because I was like, look, I understand why you left, but you're saying everyone in Comicsgate is this, or everyone is that, or whatever, you know. And he was just using a broad language,
generalizing. Yeah, well, yes. that was one thing I kept noticing. I brought it up to him a couple of times, as I said that, you know, there's, you want to leave, that's fine, obviously. And like I said, the thing that I kept noticing for what people had problems with him is that it felt like people kept saying, you're generalizing, you are lumping me in and saying all this. And then Mike S. Miller said, and I appreciated Mike, because Mike was much more precise with his language. And then he brought up an excellent point.
I had to learn that, because Mike was doing, Mike was doing some of the same stuff. He was the EVSJWs, all that kind of stuff, you know, but Mike he's an admitted troll. He admits that he likes to, you know, do things, you know, that's what the pride is a sin quote, the tweet was about, and all that kind of thing. He admits that he likes to troll the good folks. So this is, you know, but he started noticing whereas, you know, I think Doug sometimes will double down, and he'll just be like, hell to hell with it. If you don't like what I say, this is what I'm sticking with it. And he would just say whatever, right? So, whereas Mike was like, okay, maybe I need to refine this message.
Because the last time when I interacted with Mike was very precise. He said, I am talking about this particular group of people.
But he didn't used to be. Like when he first left, he was saying stuff, and I was like, you know, and I was like, you know, and Mike was one of the first people in Comicsgate to help me. So it was very weird. And so, yeah, I was estranged from Mike too. My buddy Elliot Fernandez was someone that, you know, I've been friendly with for about almost 2 years now. And, you know, he's real close with Mike, and he always kept trying to build bridges and try to get us to talk and stuff. And I know it was right before Christmas, and I talked to him. I had talked to him in like 6-7 months, which was funny, because I kept seeing that when people would talk bad about me, I'd see them talking. Sometimes they didn't know I was in the chat or something, and my name would get mentioned, and I'd see people in the chat going, "Oh yeah, Mike and Doug have turned Antonio and did whatever," and all this kind of stuff, which is kind of what led you and I to interacting for the first time, because
someone
on that guy Jay Money on Oz's stream, he's talking about I left Comicsgate and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no. And a big thing is, he was conflating not being on Ethan Van Sciver's channel as often as I used to be with, and that's the thing. Ethan talks about that, it's like, because my channel is so big, they think that that gives me some kind of weird power or whatever. It's like people will say, "Oh, okay, well, if you're not on Ethan's channel, you're not Comicsgate."
Right. Well, if we are going to call out conflation, I will say I think Ethan is guilty of it too. So if Mike has done it, if Doug has done it, and I've seen them do it, I think I've seen Ethan do it as well. So that was one thing that I think that I was trying to address on Oz's stream, was that I feel like a lot of people are getting their feelings hurt. And then one of the things that, because I sometimes think about this like sibling squabbles. I don't know if you have siblings, right? But I
got a brother and a sister.
Yeah. So then this. One of the first things that happens is when your feelings get hurt, like conflation and generalization happens. It's like, it almost comes right out of your mouth. And like, no matter how smart you are, no matter how like, intellectual you see yourself, if when you get into little squabbles, I sometimes have surprised myself with how the things I have said. It's like, well, you always do this. And from an argumentative standpoint, I've just made an absolute statement without a qualifier, which means that I have said, you always do this. Well, obviously you don't always do this, but when I'm being emotional, that's how it's going to come out. And so when I was going on those streams, I kept noticing people were just being so emotional, and their emotions were genuine, but you can't argue with an emotion. You have to kind of like see what is leading to the emotion and try to address that.
Don't you think people also assume emotions a lot of times, though, in these chats and these messages? Yeah, you can easily assume a lot of times what people are thinking when they're sending something, but
that happens a lot too.
It's misconstrued, and it seems like a lot of high school gossip, if you ask me.
All right. Well, let me get. There's a couple questions I want to highlight.
Why are you guys so sensitive? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Good point.
I'm asking all of you. I'm asking you too, both of you. Why are you so sensitive about this?
Let's see. Okay. Well, hold on. We can do that. Let me see. Tell you 2 questions. Have you shipped to Chicago yet? And I've shipped a couple books to Chicago, but I'm not clearing a city out. I'm just going down the list and packing. But it sounds like I haven't shipped you your book, but you can correct that by either sending me a DM or send me an email, and I will add you. I'm preparing the next shipment. It's going out in the morning. So if you want to be on that, send me a DM or send me an email, and I will add you to the outgoing list. I think that will solve that problem. And then
you just have just like a video on the top of your page, because I feel like you say that. Like,
yeah, I do. I was just like, yeah. And then, because that's the thing. So, okay. And then
DMs and email people.
Yeah, because my DMs are open unless you're an asshole. If you're an asshole, I have no. That's the truth. If you're an asshole, I have no problems blocking you. If I'm going to, that's something I'm just not gonna put up with anymore. And that's what I'm saying. But people that like, hey, Antonio, I haven't got my book. That's not an asshole question. It's like, so okay, hit me up. Let's see if we can get that solved for you. I'm happy to do it.
All the way to Germany.
Yes, and so that's good. So let me see. Okay, hold on. Well, let's see, Jackass. Thank you. This chick is right. Why are you think about this stuff? I'm like, no, because I think has he heard of AIDS 2? I don't know about AIDS 2. I wasn't dodging it. Oh Lord, I was trying. I thought the main thing was about your book. I don't know.
That's the name of something?
Apparently,
a disease, or what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I don't know what AIDS 2 is, so I guess that's a no.
AIDS 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Okay.
Yeah, the answer is no. You haven't heard of it.
Okay, so I was like, yeah. So okay, so hopefully now, like you said, I thought the main thing was addressing your book. So I was just trying to keep you squared away on that front, but yeah, I don't know about AIDS 2, so. Now I hope I have solved both of your questions. And okay. Narwhal sings the AIDS song. Okay, I have not heard the AIDS song. I don't know about it. And now, no, but yeah. Okay, back to the task at hand. So okay, when this gentleman,
J Money, right?
Yeah, Jay Money. He said this, and I was in the chat going, "This dude's lying. This dude was talking about me. It was weird. He was discussing me, and he was not being truthful. He was lying on the stream." And I was like,
how could anyone go on the internet and tell mistruths about another person?
Yeah, well, and I'm like, look, I'm not.
But why?
I'm not even beefing. It's like there's no beef. I'm still CG. I'm not beefing with Ethan, any of that kind of shit. Anytime I've had conversations with Ethan, it's always been kind and respectful. We don't. There's no problem. But I have, especially I've been trying to pack and fulfill these comics and everything. I've just been focusing on that and streaming on my channel because I was like, that's one of the big things when I first started talking to Ethan. He always was stressing, being able to build your own platform. And when I first started, appearing on Ethan's channel, I had, what was it? First time was on, August 11th of 2018.
How do you remember
had,
dates?
Well, that was a significant day. So, well, it's like remembering an anniversary or something. But that was the first time I was on with Ethan, and I got to talk to Mike S. Miller. I think for the second time because Mike had actually had me on. Mike showed Brand. I had a Kickstarter going. I had a Kickstarter. Mike showed Brand on Ethan's channel, and I got like $400 worth of sales after he showed it. Yeah, it was failing. It was failing. It was my second because the first campaign I ran for Brand was on Indiegogo, and I ran it for 60 days, and we raised $95, and it just bombed miserably. I had all this art from Kanan, but Kanan wasn't the artist. It was Shelby Robertson, who had been an old inker from Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios, and so Rob had hired him in like 92 or something. He was like 17 then or something. He wasn't even 18. And but which is interesting because when you follow Rob Liefeld's story, he got his first job and he wasn't even 18 and stuff. He was just drawing shit. And
he was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, he was a kid. So it was like Shelby was like 17 too. So it was like Shelby told me he's gonna come on here. I need to get him on because I was like, I've been wanting to talk to him. He's had an interesting career working like video games and shit like that. So I'd like to talk to Shelby. Shelbster.
So Comicsgate kind of boosted Brand. Is that
not kind of? It did.
So it's important to you, especially.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, when somebody says I've left the community and all this kind of stuff, it's just and again though, that's one of the things I kind of touched on that stream on Oz's channel. It's like you're saying, not being on Ethan's channel is not being Comicsgate. It's like, and there's a lot of people that have never been on Ethan's channel and they still consider themselves Comicsgate.
Well, what's the criteria?
I don't know. Every time
this all sounds like nonsense to me. I got to be honest. Like, if
there's truth in that,
isn't it like a what am I trying to say? It's not like a religion or whatever. It's like you guys have similar ideas or thoughts about things. Is like how can you're not Comicsgate anymore? You are Comicsgate now. Like, what is that?
Well,
I'm being serious. Like, it's not. I try not to delve into that stuff. Like,
well, I always go back to kind of what because I was in Comicsgate in 2017. I was on Comicsgate before I even, had talked to Ethan Van. I just been a fan of Ethan Van Sciver. So, I have a actual copy of Cyberfrog #1, the Harris Comics one. I need the original, the one that.
So is he like the godfather of it or something? Or
do you know? Are you familiar with Gamergate at all?
Yeah, I definitely know about Gamergate.
Okay, because Comicsgate is just the comics version. Broadly speaking, it's just the comics version of Gamergate, which is a consumer revolt against the mainstream and the movements of the mainstream, particularly those that are forcing I would say hard leftist propaganda into stuff. There was a chunk of that in Gamergate, right? It was just like video games are being taken over by just all this stuff, and it was very journalism focused there. in Comicsgate, it was a lot of just Marvel and DC had just been completely just taken over.
Oh, yeah.
Just by it almost seemed overnight, but when you really looked at it, it'd been something they'd been building over years.
It was a cancer that was growing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so broadly speaking, it's that. And so what's interesting is that according to people from the outside, I would even say that Doug TenNapel is probably still considered Comicsgate by like, people in Marvel and DC because he's not mainstream and he stands against that stuff. Doug does not call himself or label himself Comicsgate because Comicsgate as a concept has been, I think, is largely understood, or I guess a good chunk of it is tied to Ethan now because he's a central figure there. And so when people have distanced themselves from Ethan, they've sometimes distanced themselves from the label, even if they still are fellow travelers with, I think, the concepts that led to it.
Why do people have to hate on those types of comic skaters then? I mean, not what's his name talk shit or whatever, but like if someone's just like Antonio, let's say, like you just aren't participating in certain threads as much or something, like can't you guys just calm down? Like,
I've been erased from the Matrix.
Can't the haters just calm down a little bit?
Yeah, so
that was why I was asking. That was why I was hopping on Oz and being like, can't we get along?
Right.
But yeah, because I start hearing this like, and Ethan actually had a good thing where he said there were like 5 factions of Comicsgate or whatever. It's like there was OG Comicsgate where you had people like England Teen and stuff like that, and Captain Cummings, I guess, would be part of that, and it's like OG Comicsgate that may not fully align with Ethan or whatever. And then there was the quote unquote religious faction of Comicsgate, which that was like Mike and Doug. That all there was different. And then there was
like a CG light, like if you just want to like dip your toe in.
I think CG light, like a beard.
I think that's what I am. I think I'm CG light.
So are you? So that's the thing. I was listening to you before I hopped on, and like I said, I was kind of interested. I was like, you actually brought a lot to the panel. I thought that's why I was like, that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on because, but I got very upset at J Money because I was like, what the fuck. I'm not anti, it's like this community is giving me over $100,000. That is definitely not something, I'm proud of my association. I'm when I, showcase Comicsgate creators and stuff like that, that's me giving back. I'm not,
it's not like you rolled in like a charlatan or something trying to like dupe a town.
No,
to buy your comic book or something like that's ridiculous.
Buy my snake oil.
Yeah,
but what I am saying is, I do have some different ideas, and this is one of the things I remember discussing with you, Twitless, where I've noticed this thing over the last few months where someone says something to you and it's rude as hell. They'll say some weird shit, they're intending to insult you. And then you respond to it and they go, wait a minute, you're talking like that to a customer. Yeah. And that's one of the things I started getting real pissed off about because I noticed people were telling lies about me and I go, hey, you're fucking lying. Hey, I'm a customer. I was like, you're a fucking lying customer then. You're a customer that's lying. And even J Money on this stream, he's like, well, I'm not speaking for all of Comicsgate. I'm giving my opinion. And I'm like, your opinion is wrong. You're lying on me. You told a lie. And that's one thing I told Doug after the stream, because Doug was like, hey, Antonio hadn't left Comicsgate. I talked to him just a few days ago, and he was saying he had no problems with Ethan, because these are things that actually came up on the phone. I was like, hey, I ain't got no problem with Ethan. I appreciate he didn't have to help me. I appreciate Ethan. All this kind of, I said this on the phone. And so that's why I appreciated Doug saying, he's like, hey, Antonio said he had no problem with Ethan and he's still Comicsgate. And you're sitting here saying that he's not Comicsgate anymore.
I think J Money might have just like misinterpreted and then like misinformed, because he hopped on the stream the other day, I think yesterday, 2 days ago, and he was much more calm and he seemed much more reasonable. And so I think he might have just been very wrong.
Well, everybody looked like they were drinking on that street. You were most likely sober. I don't know if you were having cocktails, but it just there were. I saw there was the one guy. What was it, the berserker guy? He kept turning them up, and he just seemed like he was getting sloshed. Everybody was getting drunk.
He gets drunk every time. I'm worried about his health.
So I was like, drunk stream. And all this kind of thing. Yeah. And I mean, hell, I've been on multiple streams with Mr. Tanaple after he's enjoyed a few cocktails. This is, so I know Mr. Tanaple has, he likes to turn, what's it, the bourbon or whatever. It's different things that he likes to drink. He showed me, he's like, hey, come over and we can have brandy and cigars. And I was like, Doug, I don't smoke. I told you I don't smoke. And he's like, oh, you can smoke a cigar with me. I don't want to smoke a cigar.
I was gonna say, didn't you say you had asthma or something?
Yes, I do have asthma.
Yeah. You don't want to smoke.
I definitely don't. No, trust me. No, I definitely do not want to smoke. I don't want to. And I know Doug probably has very fine vintage cigars in a humidor. All this. I'm sure because he's told me, he's like, hey, Bryce. I've talked to him on the phone. He's like, hey, Bryce. Hey, we're about to, we're about to celebrate. Earthworm Jim did 500,000. Won't you come over? And we're gonna drink a little whiskey and smoke cigars. And I'm like, he's not that far from me. He's less than an hour away.
Antonio, I hope they're rolled by Cubans and not Guatemalans.
I have
that Kramer brought in.
Oh God! Yes, I love Seinfeld. That is that was actually a good episode. And but that's
To get back to your point, though, I did think it was interesting that certain customers would try to play this kind of like bait and switch, where it's like, I can say whatever I want to you, but if you give me anything back, oh my gosh, clutching pearls, how dare you say anything bad to a customer? It's like,
Well, see, and here's the thing, because a lot of people's like, this is, Comicscape's turned into Marvel 2.0, and I'm like, look, here's the one thing I noticed. When you started seeing certain people, especially people like Dan Slott that use like blockchains and stuff like that, before he started doing the blockchains, I noticed some people were playing, they were doing victim mode with him. They were like, Dan Slott, you're fat and you're Spider-Man stupid. And then he would block them. And they go, he just blocked the customer. And I'm like, you just insulted the guy. I noticed it happens with Rob Liefeld too. Rob Liefeld, you suck and you can't draw feet. And then he blocks them. And then I noticed they'll put up on it to proudly blocked by Rob Liefeld. And I was like, you were insulting him and expecting him to be just like, I'm sorry you think I can't draw feet and that I suck.
These people have like time on their hands. Come on.
That is true. Now I will say.
So I noticed I'll get I'll get people. Matter of fact, this just happened the other morning, which ended up blocking the dude. The guy asked me a question. He was on my Facebook page. He asked me a question, and he had a problem with the price for the digital, which on the Way of the Gun campaign. I kept having people ask for a digital tier. It did very well for us on the first campaign. It was just $10, but it was just for brand book one. So I added a digital tier, but I'm trying to get new readers in. And so if I so you can get Way of the Gun for $10. They didn't read book one, so they're going to jump in. They're going to be confused. So what I did is I came up with a digital tier, which is book one, book two, and the Fame book, all three books for $25.
Sure. So,
so he was like, yeah, your digital's too high. And I explained, I said, well, you're getting 136 pages for this 25. I was like, and he's like, yeah, but you're charging the same amount that you're charging for the physical book. I said, yeah, you spend $25 on one comic.
Who's asking you these questions?
This gentleman on my Facebook, he was asking me this on my Facebook.
Why didn't you just tell him to mind his own fucking business?
Well,
it's your comic book. They're your tiers.
Well, right.
Why you didn't get into it with somebody like that? Like someone like that should have none of your time.
I thought he was a potential customer that I was trying to explain why the price was so
trying to lure into.
But What I found out later is he didn't like me at all. He had been watching me on Ethan's channel. And then, so I answered him a couple times, and then he immediately insulted me and told me, let me know that I suck and that he didn't like me on the streams. And I was like, I said, okay, so you're a troll. Why didn't you just get to the trolling right at the beginning? I was like, I thought we were having a legitimate conversation about why the tier was priced the way it is and all that kind of thing. And then he was like, well, I don't like you and blah, 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 blah.
He was concerned. I think that's the definition of concern trolling.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, so you're just fucking with me. Okay. So I was like, all right, well, you're gone then. I thought you were someone that was legitimately, because, I've got ads running and people are like, hey, I don't know what's going on with this book. I like the art or whatever. And so you respond to them and try to, because I'm hoping that these people are like, hey, what's going on with this book?
Have you guys seen the Member Berries season of South Park?
I love Member Berries.
Because that's all this shit reminds me of. Like, it's just a bunch of trolls out there, a bunch of Randy or whoever's.
I do want to toss just a little bone to the other side of the argument, if I may, which is the fact that one of the reasons why Comicsgate gained some of its traction was actually partially because of Dan Slott. Douglas, because Dan Slott.
Comicsgate? Dan Slott?
No. Dan
Slott was a Spider-Man writer, and
I know who Dan Slott is.
Okay.
Is he Comicsgate?
No, definitely not.
He's one of the reasons.
I didn't think so. Okay.
No, definitely not.
I didn't think so.
He was one of the inciting factors because he was very negative to customers, and he would jump on some of those boards and be like, someone would say, hey, I think this comic sucks, not necessarily Dan. And then Dan Slott would be like, F you. And it's like, that's not customer service. That's the opposite of customer service. When someone complains about your product and then you actively antagonize the customer base.
Yes, I agree with that. And I saw some very nasty exchanges that were just talking about his story
with social media. Do you actually think that, like, should he just not engage then? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
He should just not engage.
Yeah, I mean, because again, like it's entertainment and it's selling a product, and if you're going to sell products, you do need to have at least a modicum.
Well, Marvel's selling the product; service. He's making the product. He's being paid by them to make the product. He's not selling it.
Fair. That's a fair point. But he's still
in that particular situation.
But he's still a part.
Spider-Man's not his.
He's still a part of the sales for that product. He still represents Marvel to an extent.
Of course,
right?
Yeah,
and to so actively antagonize, and he was like, once he got very comfortable, because Douglas Ernst did some videos. Once it was okay for Dan Slott to do that, then you could get Mags Visaggio saying, "Well, I just hate all white men," and want to bash him in the teeth. And it's just like it was like open season. You could just
did he antagonize or just block? Dan Slott. Did he
a little of both? I saw.
I think he did both. Yeah,
he was definitely, and he actually.
Don't think blocking is antagonizing. That's just
no, because I reserve. I have no problem blocking. Because like if I block you're not gonna be like, why did Antonio block me? You'll know exactly why you got blocked if I block you.
I agree with this comment. I mean, if it's all about calling things out, how can you be surprised with all the infighting? So, like, to a certain degree,
there's also a difference between individually blocking someone and using a blockchain, because it gets to a point where you had mainstream creators who would start blocking people just if you followed other people. Like there are certain people who work for Marvel, and I'll try to like follow them I'll just click on their Twitter page for some reason. It'll say you're blocked.
Yeah, you're blocked.
Never interacted with this person in my entire life. And the reason why I'm blocked is because I followed another, I don't even know who it is at this point, but I follow someone who that person hates. And so I am now blocked.
I could potentially not be able to follow someone just because I follow Antonio.
Yes, that is actually that's a thing.
Good thing I don't really
I got blockchain for following Ethan. I got blockchain for following Diversity in Comics when he was still on Twitter. That kind of thing. So if you follow, you can follow John Malin. So okay, this guy follows John Malin, so he's a comic skater. Boom. It's like they're automatically gonna block you because of that. But here's the thing. With Wilberforce, that's I've had people that I've had people that are in CG, say things like that I'm a thief or something like that, and they've said this to me. accused, especially after I did the stream with Critias. When Critias was on, I think because of the blowback that he got from his revelations of how that money ended up disappearing, I think a lot of people were wrong. And I was like, yo, man, I've shown, I've demonstrated that a book exists and it is real, and books are going out. People are showing that they're getting books. So, saying that I'm a thief or saying that I have embezzled anything or something, that's going to be a problem for me. Now you're talking about my professional reputation. I have a problem with that, and I'm not going to laugh and smile about it.
Like that could potentially be legal shit. Someone crap like that.
So that's the type of shit I have, and I'm like, whether you CG, formerly CG, the artist known as CG, or any of that kind of thing, I just this is so I'm going I'm gonna have a problem with that, and I'm gonna speak on it. So that's
how dare you steal people's money and then give them a product for it?
Yeah,
in equal exchange for what they paid.
But there are also a lot of people.
You thief.
And the quality product at that.
But here's the shocker: brand was late, right? So we didn't ship when we promised that we were going to ship. So you didn't fulfill that backer obligation. So when I get people going, hey, I'm upset that your book's late. That's legitimate. And I have no quarrels with anyone that's like, hey, but when you tell me that I'm a thief and all this kind of shit, yeah, that's gonna cause a problem. I'm going to respond to it. And that's one thing I can say about the Way of the Gun campaign. I own it. It's mine, and we're almost at 26K, and I know the work that I put in to get that there. So, I'm really I'm really proud of that. It's like, people were like, well, you didn't make $50,000 in one day. I didn't make $50,000 in one day after I'd been, I went on Ethan's channel the first time in 2018, and we made in like 48 hours, we had done almost $8,000, which is amazing. Right. So like we launched Way of the Gun, and like within the first day or so, we had made about $4,000. And then now it's sitting there just about 100 short of 26K. I haven't looked. I know I saw I got a sale this morning, but I didn't.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's there. The people that are going to support, they're going to support. That's what it is, man. I'm gonna build with those people, because that's like the gentleman that was trolling me on my Facebook page. It's like I'm not gonna focus on those people. Those people, the very first time, and I remember talking to Ethan about this, like the first time I was on his channel, there were people that were upset. They were like, why this guy? Why does he get to go on? And I've got a book. And then you saw later, as things started going on, then there was that big stream with Tim Lim, and he had the transcripts and all that. You started seeing that there was this, because the platform was so big, they were like, well, I should be able to go on, and you just pick this guy, and Tim Lim never said anything, but I'm saying I saw other people,
right?
They were like, why
are
so
you
much
promoting entitlement?
Why are you promoting this person and not promoting, and that, so that's one of the things.
Yeah, Godai is 100% right. So I can explain it, Jill. I can't justify it. So, because Comicsgate started off as a very much kind of like a user and consumer movement to an extent, and you had your boy Zach, who's just some random guy with a cell phone. There was this feeling of camaraderie with a bunch of, I would say nobodies, and I'm one of those nobodies, who were able to like start thinking and imagining ourselves as being a part of a comic book, collective. And so when some of those people started to see, I guess, some of the larger channels, start selecting, and had to, because like it got so big, it's like you can't have all thousands of people on your channel every night. You got to start saying, well, I'm picking this person to promote, and then the other people started getting kind of jealous. And like I said, so you can explain. Jealousy is very easy to explain. You can't justify the nastiness that came out of that. But
let me, because I want to, let's say Justin Dutton, I think Bryce's biggest mistake was, besides being late, was launching Brand 2 before over half of Brand 1 going out. I backed both, but waited on 2 until reading 1. But here's the thing, and this keeps being said. The very first thing I did, we went to print, and I released the digital of the full book. Now, it sounds like you decided, because there were a lot of people like, I don't want to read it digitally. I want to read the physical book. So you made that choice. But I sent the digital copy of the book out to all of the backers. We had over 2,200 backers. And I sent the digital out fully to the backers so everybody could read it. And then I flew Kanan out. We did streams. There's streams still up on my channel. Kanan was here signing books. So the books are shipping, which they're still shipping. I'm right here at my little pack station right now. So when we get off this stream, I'm gonna go back to packing and getting books out. So at that point, I'm like, okay, so they at least know that a full book was created. I've provided the digital, which you could choose to read or not read. The artist is here fulfilling that backer promise that we made, that he's going to sign these books. He signed 3,900 books. So I'm showing the demonstration was consistently there. That's why I was always, when people were mentioning my name and Critias, I was like, Critias hadn't done any of it. And I'm cool with Critias. Me and Critias talk regularly, and I'm cool with Critias, but I backed Detective Dead, and I was upset. But I also knew privately some of the financial struggles he was having. And I knew he was getting into some trouble. So it was, it was kind of so I was like, when I look at that situation, but I never thought I was going to be one of the, like Raging Golden Eagle launched and he made what, 45, 50,000 in like the first 24 hours, just like that. I'm never, I don't have a big YouTube channel and I'm not a mainstream comic pro. So not yet. Well, so when I look at, and I go, okay, we made, first day we're at like 3,000 and some. That seems okay to me because remember, I've done that other 60-day campaign and it was $95 for 60 days. So if I can raise 3,000 in one day, I'm like, oh shit, that's not bad. Okay. And then like I said, got Kane in here and did a couple streams and did things. So
at this point, I don't think you need to keep justifying. I mean,
no, but this keeps coming up, so I wanted to address it since.
That's right. Like, when will that stop coming up? You're sending books out; they're done. They're being sent out.
But that's the thing. But
the progress of the book.
It's like what about 20 or so minutes ago with Mr. Asshole. I'm not calling you an asshole, but he obviously hasn't gotten his book yet. So I need to rectify that. So that's legitimate. That's why I'm saying I'm not like, oh God, let me get this guy in my chat. All this kind of thing. So I'm saying the legit customer concern, I want to take care of that stuff. Yeah. But the people that are lying and saying that I'm like a thief and doing all that kind of stuff, yeah, I got problems with y'all. And that's and I'm not talking about people like like someone that's disingenuous like a Vicky, Vicky Verse. She takes a lot. I saw someone sent me. I talked about this on Oz's stream. They had sent me Kiwi Threads, Kiwi Farms thread. I never go on Kiwi Farms, and I saw it's Vicky. It's the same people that stirring shit on Twitter, and talking. I'm like, she talking about me. She's talking about me. She's talking about Ethan. That's all she do. So I'm like, okay, so she doing the same shit on Twitter because she was. I remember a couple months ago, me and her got into it before I finally blocked her. I did at first. I was like, well, she did buy my book, so I don't want to.
I was just about to ask, is she?
She bought brand. No, she bought brand. I'm saying, but she seemed to think that because she bought brand, that she could treat me like shit and then go, I'm a paying customer. And I'm like, I'm a paying customer too. I back like 40 projects on Indiegogo.
That's a whole other level of trolling.
Yeah, so she bought
money
my book
in order to like.
She bought my book, so she's a definite customer. Another customer was Mecca McCheese. He's talked a lot of shit about me. He bought my book too. He actually held it up on Ethan's channel, trolling. We were like, yeah, I got my book 2 years late, blah blah blah. And I was like, he was just a few weeks before going, well, I don't have my book, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I'm mailing these books out, dude. And then so sure enough, he held it up on Ethan's channel. It's like, hey, I got brand 2 years. He always takes a shot. I mean, he made a video about me. It was like,
why? What did you do to him? Why?
I existed. It was like, or some people are like, well, I'm a sometimes CG supporter, and I'm a critic of the movement. So Antonio,
okay, so they're like the journalists of the CG movement.
It
like
got weird.
they're like
people like that. I think
making everyone keep it real or whatever.
Yeah. I don't. So it was like, okay, so yes, I think you can be a customer and you can be an asshole at the same time. Because I'm like, but I'm just being
mutually exclusive.
Both things can be true at the same time. So and that is it. So okay, hold on. So let me so I look forward to Backing Away the Gun. And I know my book will come out, but I feel like I can't read it to well, that's legitimate.
A very common
yeah, but that's the thing. So there's a like I said, I got a couple thousand books that I'm packing, and I saw someone wrote me this morning. They were like, well, Mike did this and Gat Hanzo did this and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I know for a fact Mike is packing with his kids and his wife and all that. They said they got a whole army of people sitting there packing books. You know who all packing all these labor? Books? You know who's all packing all the brand book? And I've shipped over 1,000 packages right now. You know who all packed all of them? Just me. Still packing. I was up all night last night packing books.
Why didn't you get a fulfillment service to do that? Because isn't that one of the approaches? Because
fulfillment, here's the problem. Okay. Brand was so cheap, which is why I had so many backers. So brand, I only charged $15 for it.
Okay.
So some of these other books that charge $25 or whatever. I only and my shipping was cheaper than everybody's too. So I got a bunch of backers, right? Even I looked at Vestige. Like Vestige has right now, it had like 1,900. They hadn't quite cracked 2,000. I've got on I was back 2,488 times. So that's the thing. So Mike had a bunch of backers on Lone Star 2, obviously, but I don't have 5 kids and a wife sitting there packing. You know what I'm saying? That was like, right. I just don't. This is what it is, man. So I'm like,
So was it just not financially viable for you to like pay for the fulfillment
service is expensive?
Was that it? Yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. Yeah.
I know Ethan said on stream a few times that but I mean, obviously his cyber fraud campaign was huge, but he spent over $100,000. 100 grand.
Wow.
But I mean, just the cyber fraud campaign, the first one did like $1 million on the various campaigns.
Right.
And so, and I know I could swear I heard him the other day say that he's going, because there were by his own admission a few problems with the fulfillment service, and Richard had a few problems with the Jawbreaker fulfillment service where they had to send me my book twice because the first time they just put it in like a little weird envelope and it bent up. It had my postal worker bent it up and just shoved it, and I was like, I just spent like $30-something on this book, and he bent that shit in half and just stuck it in there, and I was like, that sucks. So I was like, damn, you spend like $30-something on a book. You don't want it folded in half and put in your mailbox. But to his credit, he immediately he said, hey, send me a picture of the damage. Contacted him. Richard C. Meyer, perfect customer service. I sent it out to him. Boom. And then he shipped that is what it is. So, within about a week of me contacting him, he sent that thing out. So, but that is, yeah. So he salute to him, and I backed. He's got like 4 campaigns active right now on Indiegogo, if I'm not mistaken. So Jawbreakers, Grand Bazaar, Expendables, Pandemic, and then the no. What's the Just Say No or something? No. I can't remember I know Kelsey Shannon's the artist on it. No. Somebody in the chat knows what this is, but he's got like 4 active campaigns right now. So,
sorry, I just got to respond to chat. Lock it up. I have a table. It's just a small one. We have a minimalist house here.
They're
commenting on my decor.
Yeah. So that's yeah. And I'm like, but the chat is active, so it's like, yeah, I've got my dear friend Anna. She keeps wanting me to go on there, and I'm like, I don't want to go on Kiwi Farms. And when I went on Kiwi Farms, it was people like Vicky just just saying horrible things about me, and like, this is why his book is no one's buying the book. And
honestly, it's a lot of that's just a waste. Like, I'm with Jill on this. Like, it's such a waste of time. It's like, do something else. Like, you're doing comics. Like, work on your comic. Like, that's one thing that it surprises me how much time Ethan spends on all the drama, social media stuff. It's like, dude, come on. Because I think Ethan's been on Kiwi Farms, and then like some of the other, I think Nasser's been on it and stuff. It's like, man, we got to get all y'all off this drama stuff and just.
Did they get any sort of like monetary compensation for doing that shit because they're so big or anything?
No.
Okay.
It's just a waste of
time.
Trying
to think of a reason.
It's just a waste of time, and not only is it a waste of time, but it tends to stir. It tends to get it keeps people's feelings always on edge. Is what I keep seeing. The more people are on all the social media platforms and all the drama stuff, the more that they think they stay on edge. Because when they can finally like put that aside and like, either talk to each other like normal human beings or just, I don't know, just work on their products, I feel like, there's much less drama and much more production. So.
Whew. But let me see. I hope for a third Iron Sight. Actually, there is going to be a third Iron Sights. I remember when I had Ebi Canales on a couple months ago. They were definitely planning a third Iron Sights and probably a fourth as well. I know Richard seems to like doing the Iron Sight story. So, yeah. So. Oh yeah, I saw Ethan loves to get on there and mix it. I saw Ethan on there. I saw Nasser on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I saw people just on there. I was like, how the hell did I end up on Kiwi Farms? I don't ever go here. So it was weird. And then, like I said, Vicky was just running me down on Vicky. I was like, damn. And then, like I said, when you do that, someone always is screenshotting shit and they go, hey, Antonio, have you seen this? Look at this. This is being said
that's the shit you should ignore. They're just trying to get you riled up.
I noticed some people only DM me because they're like, hey, this person is talking shit about you. And I was like, that person doesn't like me, so I expect them to talk shit.
Surprise.
Not everybody likes everybody else. What the hell is Kiwi Farms? Is it a YouTube channel? What
no, it's like a web form, and they just say kind of outrageous shit.
Like a comment board or something?
Yeah, it's like 4chan Lite. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pandemic is about to close. I'm pretty sure because he's getting ready to fulfill that. So let's see. I think announced this was third. Well, yeah, but he had definitely told me that they had more Iron Sight stories planned, and they want to keep working together. So they're definitely going to keep doing these books. And I mean, he's done over $100,000 on all the Iron Sights books that he read. So I would keep putting, if you got books that will consistently raise, well, the first one did like 120. Well, hell, that's before he did the $10,000 charity. Remember, he donated $10,000 to a LGBTQ charity. And they were trying to get like Max Massaggio was trying to get the charity to turn the donation down, which they did not. They took the money. So if somebody's giving me $10,000, I'm gonna take it. Like, I don't know who the hell Mag Massaggio is. I'm taking this $10,000. Just because you don't like Richard C. Meyer, we like that $10,000. So
yeah, they'll put that money to use however they want.
Well, that being said, I think it was Ethan Ralph and the Killstream. That a donation that he made actually did get refunded, I think. So it has happened before. People have gotten charitable donations refunded.
Yes.
Because they come from problematic people or something.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's happened multiple times. And matter of fact, I think the first charity that he was going to donate to did, and then he found, I think the second one, when he actually showed the receipt, I think it was to the Trevor Project. I think that was, but I might be wrong. Someone can correct me, obviously. But I thought the first charity decided they did not want his donation, and then he found a charity that was like, we will gladly accept that $10,000.
It's just money to them.
Yeah. And then there was the stuff on with the GoFundMe with that he was, he was raising the legal funds for the Mark Wade lawsuit. And someone donated $10,000 and got doxxed and all this, that whole thing. Those people are disturbed individuals. So I was just like, the whole thing was just really, it was just horrible. So I just, but I'm a big admirer of Richard C. Meyer. It was his voice that drew me into this movement.
Yeah.
I joined Comicsgate because of Richard C. Meyer. So this is that his voice, he's always, like I said, I would very much, like to, he's always been very friendly towards me, and I don't take that for granted. I mean, I wouldn't say we're friends or anything, but he's, if I ask him for some advice or something, he's given me some really good advice when I went into fulfillment and stuff like that, and stuff that kind of helped save some money and things like that. So, salute to Richard C. Meyer, and I will continue supporting his projects. But like I said, Twitless, I enjoyed our interactions on Oz's stream, and
me too.
You seem very pleasant on the Jillstream today. So I definitely,
Thank you.
So yeah, I appreciate you being here. This is I don't know. These are strange and wonderful times that we live in.
Very strange times.
Yes, and I don't know. We've got transgender models on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which I think is odd. I guess I could be a cynic and go, so you took you replaced a woman on the cover. That's why it's always weird when I see transgender athletes in sports and stuff like that, and then they're fighting a woman, and if they win, I go, okay, so basically
a man just beat a woman.
A man just beat a woman,
and we're celebrating it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's confusing to me. I don't.
That's kind of what has come up a few times on the Wrestling Council when we've talked about Nyla Rose. I'm like, okay, Nyla Rose is a transgender athlete, and you made her the second women's champion. She beat Riho and became the women's champion. So I was like, basically, you had someone that was born a man become your women's champion.
It's not like it's the first time something like that has happened. WWE, well, it's AEW, but Santina Marella was the women's champion.
And that a lot of women.
Santina Marella.
People got offended by that because they go, they're trying to make the women's division serious, and they made Santina the champ.
Didn't like it. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. I didn't like that. That was dumb. It was really fucking stupid. The thing with Nyla Rose is wrestling isn't real. I am a wrestling fan, so don't.
Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan as well. Obviously,
it's
I
real.
mean it in the way is like they're not competing against each other physically; they're competing against each other as like fellow contract workers trying to get a spot on the card. It's a little different. It's a different conversation.
The stunts are real,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
of course.
You have transgender UFC fighters and stuff like that. You can get hurt
just as easy with anybody else. And there's been many times. I mean, Bully Ray put women through tables all the time. I mean,
put Mae Young through a table.
They can easily get hurt doing that too. I just think pro wrestling is a little bit different than regular sports. Regular sports.
Yeah, definitely big time. But MMA organization, not UFC. I don't know which one. Well, maybe it was Bellator. It may have been Bellator, but yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, look at Nia Jax. She's a woman and she injures people left and right. I mean, it's.
Oh yes, she does.
About wrestling now, not real like athletic sport. Not like MMA fighting. You're working together with somebody to do something.
You there has to be some cooperation.
And she injures people all the goddamn time.
Multiple people. But did you see a couple months ago where she was upset that Ronda Rousey had apparently hurt Alexa Bliss a few times? So she had spoke out about Alexa Bliss, her friend Alexa Bliss getting hurt.
You know what? That's a perfect example of somebody like Ronda Rousey, who is like, a tough woman, strong fighter I'll just call it a sport that she doesn't know well. She's not trained in, and yes, there is training when it comes to, pro wrestling. So it doesn't surprise me that she would injure somebody like a petite Alexa Bliss. Like that's, I don't know what my point is, but yes.
Oh, go die. Okay. Did you? It's still up. The video's still up on YouTube. Do you remember?
China's been in a fight with them.
Yeah. She was. She boxed Joey Buttafuoco on Celebrity Boxing. I remember they did
Celebrity
Boxing. And surprise, Joey Buttafuoco whooped her ass. Even though she's supposed, she's a professional wrestler. And
but boxing is also a trained sport. You don't just get in there and throw your fists around and expect.
Yeah, she got so basically. I couldn't believe. I didn't understand what happened because Joey Buttafuoco, he was kind of looked like he had a, he looked like more like armchair quarterback. Although I saw him working out and he looked like he was actually out there lifting weights and doing stuff. He was actually trying to, get himself in shape, but he's kind of like, oh, okay, big type of thing. But yeah, when he actually got in the ring against China, it wasn't much of a contest.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so I was like, you're putting it's just that's why Jeff Jarrett did not want to put China over for the Intercontinental Championship, even though he was leaving the company, and he held Vince up for $200,000 and made them pay him $200,000. And then he
paid for the future of Impact. Actually, it didn't. I think he lost.
Because
by that time.
The situation that I remember was I don't remember who it was, but it was a situation where a woman was fighting a trans woman. And afterwards, I believe, again, the trans woman won because it's a man.
Yeah.
It might have been UFC. And the woman said, I've never been hit so hard in my life.
Wow.
Like she went on record as saying, like, this was frightening to me. And again, that's where it's like, so real women are expressing real fear and real like injury and really saying, I am not comfortable with this person saying that they're this identity and then hitting me harder than I've ever been hit in my entire life. And then like, it's like, but then they're big.
That just made me think like really super dark thoughts about like women in domestic abuse situations.
That's what it didn't, again, it's like
horrible.
But then those are those women bigots for then saying they don't want to be a part of that. Like that's where our culture is. Yeah.
So. That's why I think it's worth at least. I don't think saying that it should be a conversation and talked about should be called bigoted. Like it should at least be a conversation and talked about.
Some of the things you're seeing with like J.K. Rowling's where they're trying to cancel. I see some of and I mean she has a lot of LGBTQ in the Harry Potter fandom.
No, she doesn't. In the fandom. I thought you were saying the book.
Yes.
Sorry.
In the fandom, there are a lot. I see the people doing like fanfics and the cosplay and all that. There's a lot of LGBTQ people in the Harry Potter fandom group. So once she started saying something controversial, like there are only two sexes.
She didn't say that though. She didn't say that. She saed that woman. Listen, it started. Well, she said stuff in the past, but it started with this. She tweeted an article that was talking about, instead of calling women, the article says people who menstruate.
I remember that. Yeah, people who menstruate.
That's what gets the heckles up. It's like, no, I'm a woman. I'm not it's those insulting terms. It makes you think of those terms like that you just call women like child bearers or I can't think of worse terms because I don't want to, I guess. But
I actually saw an article. Someone shared this with me.
It sounds demeaning, but then it goes to this thing. But men have the periods too, and it's just like now we're getting into this. It's like now she's anti-trans and this or that. She's just saying no, but I think a woman should be able to call themselves a woman.
But she did say on Twitter that she believes that there are two. That she said, "Are there more than two sexes now?" And her trans fans were very upset with her for expressing such a controversial viewpoint that oh my God, there are only two. What do you mean there's only two? Because I've heard people that are
But why would wouldn't okay, I don't know all the terms. Nobody.
Yeah, there's
blah, blah, blah.
There's gender non-binary now.
There's all of that, but don't most people? This is a question, everyone. Don't get mad, but don't most people who are trans want to be a different gender or a different maybe not a different sex. See, that's where the weird stuff is. Like, what is sex? What is gender?
And again, obviously, I'm not trans, but
yeah,
I think like, okay, if they were born a woman and they're transitioning to a man, or if they were born a man and they're transitioning to a woman, they want to be identified as the sex that they are transitioning to.
But I think that's where the conversation gets muddled and confused for me, because I think in that situation, they're saying their gender is woman and that sex doesn't exist or something. Yeah, there is a million terms. I don't know.
Here's the thing though. Someone sent me an article, and this is some scary Dr. Frankenstein shit. I saw there is people that are saying that it might be possible to do uterus transplants.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So that someone that is a trans woman could be able to carry and give birth to a child.
Well, I would imagine I would hope that would also be the case then for women.
Yeah, women who struggle with having kids. Yeah, that's great for them. Yeah,
that would be fine. Or I guess that's a step in the right direction for that.
I don't know. It just seemed like Dr. Frankenstein shit to me. I was just like, okay, so. But I mean, once you go through the whole surgery and all that, then I guess because I worked with a few people that were transgender when I was at Amazon, and this is yeah. I
don't know. I've never felt like I wanted to be the opposite sex or be a man. So I don't know what it feels like. And this has nothing to. We're just talking about it. Like, doesn't mean that everyone's a person. Everyone's a human being that deserves to exist. Like, none of us asked to be born here. We all just popped into existence, and we all just have to kind of try to fucking live with each other here. I just muddle through the best we can. So when I hear you guys like bitching and moaning about all this Comicsgate shit, I'm like, come on, there's not enough time in the world. Move on, focus on the positive shit on brand, and just fucking live a happy life.
Amen. I second that. Those are some wise words right there.
It sounds so easy though, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah. If it were only so simple. Well, yeah. It is simple if you choose it.
Yeah.
But I am coming out.
I don't participate in social media very much at all. That's why I see all this stuff and I'm just like, why even engage? But at the same time, like, if Yul didn't engage with you, I wouldn't be sitting here with Antonio right now. I wouldn't. So there are positives to engaging. I just think being positive is better than being negative.
Are you going to support me, Jill, as I come out as a lesbian? I am a lesbian. I want to.
Oh, so you like women? You like women?
I very much like women.
How did I know you like women? Then Alexa, wait, I think it was Candace you commented on last night.
Yes, she deserved a push.
The push,
yeah.
I laughed out loud.
She deserved a push. That's why I'm like, Boogie pisses me off.
Oh, I laughed out loud.
Boogie, stop being a prude, man. I'm an asshole and I say foul shit online. Deal with it. When I'm on the podcast and I say weird shit, just go with it, man. Just like smoke a doobie or something and roll with it. And then he goes, "Oh my God, Antonio, why are you saying?" But he has less of a problem with it when I do it on my channel. So like we have two different wrestling councils. Like when I do the wrestling council on Boogie's channel, then certain things I shouldn't discuss. But then if I do it on this channel, I can say whatever I want. And then he's like, "Oh, okay, we're on Antonio's channel. It's okay."
Well, it is his channel, and this is your channel. I mean, there is a certain.
But it's the same podcast, though.
I don't disagree, but if something's going to affect his channel in a negative way that he can
I don't know. To control. I do get demonetized a lot, I will say that. Yeah, because I like to stir the pot, and I like just like I do like to stir the pot. I like to say spicy things. That's what Sexy Party was about. Just saying, like when I was doing the Sexy Party podcast, it was just it was all about all manners of perversions and doing that's what we that's what I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to evoke a response. So I do like doing that. That is kind of it's the fun of it. Because if you say the right thing and you go, oh wow, and then people start, the chat is active and they're putting their little spins on it and they're putting their opinions out there. So it is, that's the fun of it. That's what I enjoy. So yeah, so I definitely want to, I want to talk about interesting topics with interesting people, and
the side effects is just wading through all that bullshit. Bullshit.
Yep, that's what it is. Well, Antonio, sorry. I actually have to jump in just a couple of minutes. Do you mind if I share a thing or two?
Please share something.
Because I actually do have. I'm popping up because I don't think I can pop links in your live chat, but I have a link. This is a webcomic I've been doing for 4 years. We update Mondays and Fridays. It's a superhero webcomic, a superhero comedy webcomic called Super Schooled at www.superschooled.com.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Can I drop it in the chat? And then boom. Hopefully that will work, and I will put it in the chat, and then
I've got one other thing to share with you, which is I got to share screen if you got a second.
Okay. I got it right here.
This is the Adventures of Omega Girl. This is my first superhero book that I'm working on. I do not have.
Let me get a zoom in on that. That looks pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Are you the artist?
I am not. I am the writer, I'm the writer. I am self-funding this. This is all out of my pocket.
So you're not going to crowdfund it?
I'm not crowdfunding it yet. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it on my own first before, because you know this, right? There's so much you got to learn about how to put a book together, and I wanted to prove to myself I could do it by myself before I asked someone else for money. So
that's fair, but that looks really strong.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why I was like,
I like vibrant colors. Yeah, I'm a big fan of.
But my hope is to have a full book put together that I can bring to people at the end of the summer. I'm hoping to hit that target. We'll see if I do. If it's not, then it'll be some point this fall. But it's a classic superhero story. Obviously, all of you should go and back Brand. So.
It's nice to see some people saying they have backed book 2, and so I you guys, let me say that I appreciate you guys so much. Looks like we're very close. I think we're only a backer or so away from having 500 backers, which I was told wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to get 500 backers on this next campaign, and looked like we were only a handful away from getting to 500 backers. And like I said, we're about to cross $26,000. So. I have failed my way into $26,000. Hopefully, as more people get the books and they go out and people get to actually check it out. And I'm really proud of Brand. What Kanan and I did. This is.
You have every right to be proud. Like, that's some amazing looking art, and absolutely that Santana character is nightmare fuel that I will remember forever. So, but yeah, no, thank you very much for having me on. I would love to come on again and talk to you guys. I just love talking about comics.
I think you did very nicely because, I'm about to get out of here too. I think we've done a very nice Jillstream.
A short stream today.
But I think we. I thought the conversation was good and the chat was active. So. I'm very happy with this. Sometimes I thought we did a good job there. So Twitless, how can folks reach you on the interwebs? Obviously, we got the link to your book there in the chat. And I'll put it in the description as well.
Thank you very much. You can follow me on a webcomic when I do eventually get this book put together. I can't wait to share that with the world. But I also have a YouTube channel, Twitless Comics, and I'm on Twitter as well, which I shouldn't probably be because, as Jill said, it's just a waste of time. But just if you search Twitless, I'm pretty sure I come up because no one's stupid enough to name themselves Twitless except for me.
Let's see.
I know I can't call you a twit because you're twitless.
But
I was trying to be smart.
Yeah,
I failed.
But this was a fun stream. We certainly appreciate everybody that was here. On the chat. Looked like I saw some new faces in the chat. Please, please come back and hang out with us again. Subscribe. We'd love to have you here. Be doing more streams. I've got some other stuff that I'm not ready to announce yet, but it'll be pretty big, and we'll want to keep having fun with you guys. But other than that, Jill, this is your show, so please, is there anything you would like to say? I don't want to stop you.
No, not at all. Just I love our conversations. I will see everybody next time.
Oh yeah, we'll be back on the Jillstream. Always Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on YouTube. All at Akari Press. AkariPress.com takes you to Brand Way of the Gun. Check us out on Amazon. Check us out on Teespring and get some of those hot, sexy Santana shirts or any of the other stuff that I keep meaning to put. I got like a Fame.
Oh wait,
shirt.
I do have one more thing. Everyone
okay.
should watch the Wrestling Council.
Yes.
Also on this channel and the Talking Balls Network.
Yes, it was at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, either on Akari Press or on the Talking Balls Network. Thursdays. I am hosting next week, and I am hosting. I'm also going to host the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which I think is the next, not this Sunday, the next Sunday. Yeah, the horror show with the swamp match from Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. They're doing the swamp match. So I am going to be hosting that live stream. I'm not sure. Boogie said he might not be able to be there, but obviously, Jill, you will be there, and Frank and Comic Book Bob and Yul, and we will be having fun there. Talking about wrestling. If you enjoy the genre of sports entertainment, we invite you to watch us each and every single week on the Wrestling Council. I am very proud of that podcast. We are almost at 50 episodes. It's crazy to think that we've been doing this for like 7 months on there. So we're getting up there and might start having a special guest or two on the Wrestling Council.
Right.
Ooh, okay. But always, as the late great Stan Lee said, Excelsior! And we're out.
Peace.